trading in metals, right? And he was just trying to find resources, trying to get money for the black market for food and things like that.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
To get us alive. He had to, because regime does not provide food for the people. So they had to break the law, which is trading, to survive. Right? Without trading, how do we even survive? So he was trading these metals, and he got caught, and that's how he's in the prison camp.
And how long was he in prison for?
Several years, but he was sentenced to more than 10 years. So I think he was totally in prison 34 years. But he got out of for sick leave, which is had to go back once he got better. But of course, in North Korea, that's like who cares if you die. He was a very smart guy. So he tricked the guard, saying, if you get me out for the sick leave, I'm gonna get you money. Because North Korea is the most corrupt country that you can find right now in today's world. So corrupt.
So he tricked the guard, told him that he'd get him some money, and so he was in for how many years? You said 4 years?
3-4 years, yeah.
And what was it like when he got out?
I didn't recognize him when he came back to me. I did not know that was my father. Even his voice changed. It's when I call North Korea, even till this day, I do have people underground. I get information. Their voice is different. It's like their voice is so oppressed. You can tell this is North Korean is speaking.
You can tell just by their voice.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is when some Chinese, like we have the brokers try to trick us, by voice we can tell if you are Chinese, like Korean ethnic Chinese living in China trying to trick us, or actually North Korean is speaking to us.
Wow, so you can actually hear the oppression in their voice.
Yeah, you can.
What does it sound like?
It's like complete fear, like terrified to the point they don't even know they're terrified. They're like, I don't think even Bug would be that scared. Like he was calling me like on me in his voice. I didn't see my father, and he was so scared, and I could see he was so scared. I was like only 9 something 10. I don't even know. I was like young, and I could say, why is he so afraid?
And so he does get out, and they never put him back in jail again?
Because I rescued him after I went to China. I got him out, so he had to go back. He had to go back to jail, but he died in China.
So you were 13 when you and your family, was it you and your mother that escaped?
Yeah.
How did you get out?
So that hospital, right? Initially, my sister and I was gonna escape, but when North Koreans say when you are escaping, of course we don't have phones, we don't have a map, we don't know what's the outside world look like.
Right.
Luckily, I was living in this border town of North Korea by then. So at night, do you know if you see the satellite photo of North Korea, it is literally the darkest place on earth.
Yes.
We don't have electricity. So I was seeing these lights coming from China. So I thought like if I go where the lights were, we would be finding some bowl of rice. So at 16, my sister left with her friend, and she left me a note while I was in the hospital and got removing my appendix. And then as soon as I got out of the hospital, I found a note. And initially, my mom and I went to look for sister where she went. But when we found the lady, she told me that she could help me to go to China that day.
And so this was you and your mother, and you were 13 years old.
Yeah.
So how did you get across, and what was that experience like?
So I told my mom like come with me to China, and my mom was like, father is like, my father was home, he was waiting, but the thing is that the tragic thing for North Korea is we cannot even say goodbye to our loved ones. So if we got caught on the journey, and if my father knew that we were escaping, he's gonna be punished so much. So it's better off that he does not know that we are escaping for his own safety. Because they're gonna torture you to the point that you're gonna say anything. Because they do this all subconscious like torture, that they make you not sleep. In a single room has like no air, much air. If you put there for 40 days alone, you go crazy. You say whatever they ask you. So if he actually knew that we were escaping, it wouldn't good for him. He would be dead. So I told him, I'm like, you cannot tell father that we are escaping. So that day we climbed up this several mountains, and then we went to the riverside. But she had a connection with the guards.
Why did you not bring him with you?
Because he's a man and he was sick. And somehow she said only women can go.
Only women can go.
I did not know what she meant by that. She's like, you should just go with your mom. And don't even tell those people that's your mom. She said, like, you are like 18 or something. And my mom was something 30. So she told me that our age was different.
So, and this would somehow or another help you when you were going across?
Yeah.
How would that help you?
I don't know. All she told me was this is going to be helpful. And
well, part of the issue is in China, there's a disproportionate number of men in comparison to women.
Yeah.
And so they want as many women to come across as that are of legal age, like women that can be married or can, right? Is that the idea behind it?
It's a smuggling. So like you got it right. Because of one child policy,
right?
A lot of girls got aborted in China. So they kept the boys. Now,
so there's many men that have no chance of ever finding a woman because there are no women.
Yeah, over 30 million men in the rural areas cannot find wives. So
30 million.
Over 30 million, and its number gonna keep going up right now. So that's a big problem for Chinese regime. But the thing is, even that, they don't allow North Korean women to stay there. They catch us, and they send us back to North Korea. Last month, China repatriated 50 North Korean defectors back to North Korea. It's sending them Auschwitz. Literally, they are sending them to death camp. But the Chinese regime still do catch us and send us back because they think we are posing a threat to the regime, and they don't want the regime to collapse. So they are catching all the defectors. But the human traffickers seize the opportunity here because we are so vulnerable, right? We are running away from Chinese authority. So even they rape us and kill us, the last place that we are going to go is going to police and then report on them.
Why did they think that women coming over from North Korea are going to somehow or another collapse the empire?
Because that's what Kim Jong-un believes. He thinks they're going to collapse through the defection, through the defectors. So after Kim Jong-un came into power, the country cannot afford the electricity. Probably electrify the fence the entire border. Not only that, putting the machine guns with the guards, have a shoot to kill order. Whoever crosses, they don't even bother to ask you stop. They shoot you right there. And not only that, he buried the landmines on top of that.
So there's electric fence, and then there's guards shooting to kill, and then past that there's landmines.
Yeah. Entire country became a concentration camp. Entire country.
When did they start putting the landmines in?
A few years ago.
So this is after you had already escaped.
Yeah. Now there's you don't see North Korean defectors escaping from North Korea anymore. It's impossible to escape at this point.
One of the more horrific things that Jordan and you discussed was you seeing your mother raped, and that your mother sacrificed herself because they wanted you.
Yeah.
And this is the first time you had ever even seen what sex was.
So I didn't even know that was sex. I did not know even that was rape because we didn't have the vocabulary in North Korea. So in North Korea, there's no word for stress.
There's no word for stress.
Because how can you be stressed in the socialist paradise? So there's no word trauma. There's no word depression because you cannot be simply depressed in socialist paradise. There's no word for liberty. There's no word for human rights. There's no word for rape or even sex. So I just thought something I was seeing was horrible. But later they told me that was rape. I did not know that was rape.
Well, you also said that you never heard the word love.
Yeah, no, there's no word for love in North Korea.
So your mother never told you she loved you? You never told your father you love him?
Yeah.
None of that?
So in North Korea, there's even no word for I. So they don't want people to be individualistic, right? That's the worst thing you can be. It's all a collectivism. So when North Koreans say, I like water, I say, we love water. we love kimchi. So that's how, when I'm in South Korea, they will keep saying, in South Korea, there's difference between we and I. So when you say, I like this, say I. And then, of course, all the North Koreans keep saying, we love this country. And South Koreans get so frustrated that we are keep misusing I and we. And that's how regime controls your minds through language. It is George Orwell's 1984. They create doublespeak.
Yeah.
Why language is so important, because it controls your thoughts. So that's how I got rid of the romantic love. We don't even know possibly another human can love another human. Only love that North Koreans know is like a written form love, that when we describe our feeling towards the leader. And we don't know that word can be used to describing our feelings to another human.
When Kim Jong-il died and people were crying in the streets and people were sent to prison for not crying enough.
Yeah.
It was the strangest thing for us to watch as Americans, because it was performative, where people were performing. They were not really crying. They were wailing in this very theatrical way to let everyone know that they were complying.
It's your life is on the line. People watching you. If you don't mourn enough, that's the thing. If you don't mourn in the most extreme high, they're gonna send you to prison camp and execute you. So we are doing it to survive.
Did you see anyone who didn't mourn enough?
No, I mean, it's impossible. How do you not mourn enough? How do you not possibly? Your life generation is depending on you when you mourn.
So everyone knows this.
Of course we all know.
And everyone knows it's a threat.
Even babies know. When you're born in North Korea, you know what it is. You don't study questioning. The first thing my mom told him as a young girl was not even be careful of strangers. Be careful, call, none of that. She would say, be careful of your tongue, because that is the most dangerous weapon you got in your body. Don't even whisper, because the birds and mice could hear you. So that's the first thing you hear from your parents, how dangerous what you say is going to be.
Did you personally see people that you knew get imprisoned because of things that they said?
They just disappear. One of my sister's classmates, her mom, when they executed. And then because they accusing her to receiving money from the foreign CIA or the South Korean intelligence. But a month later, they said, oh, it was not a problem. She wasn't a spy. So they brought the family members back out of the concentration camp.
So they killed her for nothing?
And they don't even say sorry to that. It's we don't even know that's a concept government can be sorry or they can ever make a mistake.
So how did they find out that she wasn't really a spy?
We just don't know. Just one day that classmate came out and my sister's classmate came out, and then they said her mom was not a spy. So they got out of the prison camp. And that's it. There's nothing reward, none of that.
And so this was a common thing.
Yeah.
And you just lived in constant fear.
This is the thing, and we are 3 people sitting here, right? I'm watching you, and Jamie's watching me, and you're watching somebody else. So even I'm being a nice person, not gonna report on you. I know Jamie's watching me. He's gonna report on me. But even if you try to be nice, but he knows he's being watched by somebody too. So you're being spied on, and you're spying on somebody. So no escape.
And everybody has to report
Absolutely.
Anything that they find. If you said something negative about the government, I would have to tell on you, otherwise I would get in trouble.
Yeah. And the other person don't report on you, that person get in trouble. There's no way out of it. That's how they create distrust. One thing that shocked me when I came to the West, how trust exists. In North Korea, there's a saying don't even trust your own back. Because you don't know who is a spy. You don't know who is listening, who is watching.
And people just disappear.
Yeah, just disappear. And public executions happens in a stadium next to market where most people go. And in North Korea, there's no concept of minor, right? There's no concept minors cannot do labor. That's not a thing. As a child, 7 years old, you go to school, you work. You go to work in the dam, construction, in the farm. And you're a minor, so therefore when there's public execution happens, you're on the front line because you are the shortest. Just they line up 5-6 years old in the beginning, and then like in the age going sit like all. It's a mandatory to attend.
So it's mandatory to attend public executions.
Yeah.
And how did they kill the people?
After Kim Jong-un got in power, he became more brutal how he kills people. He used the air missiles that shoot down the airplane, that kind of powerful weapon. So when he kills people, they blow up into pieces. Like they literally become just red pieces and fireworks. That's what I hear from nowadays executions. But my time was more the guard standing and shoot you here, and 3 times. 9 shots, and then a body becomes like a rolled, and then like they just put in a luggage and take it out. But nowadays, I heard they are using way more. They are starting hanging too. Before my time was just execution, but Kim Jong-un said even the bullets we don't want to waste on this trash. They call us trash, and so just hang them and or stone to death. So bring the people around the town and hit them with the rocks until they die.
So the people in the town would contribute to the execution. They would be the ones throwing the rocks.
Yeah. Otherwise, you get punished. You have to.
And what are the crimes that you could be sentenced to death for?
Is as little as, so in North Korea, every room has to have a portrait of Kim's, and the inspector comes out of nowhere in the middle of the night and then touch the portraits. If they see any dust, they say your royalty is not high enough, and then you can get executed and sent to prison camp 3 generations of your family. And
so if the picture is dusty, you get executed.
Yeah, and if your house get on fire, the first thing is not you run with your family or your children or parents. You have to protect the portraits with your life. Otherwise, the 3 generation gets punished for that. Even murderers, rapists in North Korea don't exist. We don't even know what rape is. I mean, they have pleasure squad. Right, every year they go around the country, pick up the virgin girls, bring them back to Pyongyang, make them call as satisfactory groups, train them to become sex machines. Every year they do that. So these officials, now the guy who's in the second power in North Korea, his name is Chae-ryong-hae, he has his own pleasure squad, and he takes entire teeth out of these girls. So when they kiss him down there, he has more pleasure. So these things is not a crime in North Korea. Literally, when women walk down, if the guys stand you and rape you, you cannot go to police. You got raped. It's your fault. So this country, I mean, every wives get beaten by a husband in North Korea. This is not a crime. But if there's a newspaper, there's a portrait of Kim Jong-un, right, or Kim Jong-il. You didn't see the front page. In the back page, you ripped it by mistake. That's how you get executed. That is what we call crime in North Korea.
Wow. Having escaped that and looking back on it now and knowing that it exists right now, what can be done? What could the rest of the world do? I mean, North Korea has nuclear weapons. It's they have a powerful military.
Yeah.
What can the rest of the world do to stop this from happening? Because it seems like, I mean, this is horrific. It's a form of genocide, and it's happening right now.
It's a Holocaust. In 2014, UN conducted this investigation for a year, and the conclusion was the only resemblance that we find in our history, what is happening to North Korean people, is a Holocaust. So Holocaust is happening again, and of course we are denying it again. Right, when it was Holocaust, it was happening. A lot of people say, how is that possible? It's so hard to believe that. And North Korea, using this concentration camp, these people do the biology test. They put them in the gas chambers. Right now, they do that.
A biology test?
Of course.
What's the biology test?
They test a lot of the weapons, biological weapons. So they, keep trying to... North Korea spends entire their GDP on developing nukes and weaponaries. I mean, they are the biggest provider to the Middle East. When there's a war, they buy missiles from North Koreans. North Korea makes money by selling the crystal meth and opium. that's how Kim Jong-un makes money in hacking, right? He steals a lot of Bitcoin and get up banks, like ATM machines. That's how he makes money. Because they don't export anything other than drugs and weapons and hacking and human trafficking.
So they experiment on their own people to find out if these biological weapons work?
Yeah. And also, they need a lot of concentration like prisoners because they have to clean the nuclear debris. Because they do a lot of tests. So since 2017, North Korea conducted almost 30 missile tests. If the one test missile cost to feed 25 million the entire year. So if he chose to do 4 less tests, nobody had to die in North Korea from starvation. And right now, Kim Jong-un recently admits that 11 million North Koreans are severely malnourished, and he's proud to say that. And he's not even bothering to hide in the past. Yeah, they are starving.
And
so
he's
what?
fat.
Oh yeah, that's his problem, being too fat.
Wow. So they're forced to clean up nuclear waste from these
The debris,
test sites.
everything, yeah.
And of course they die from
Of
radiation.
course, they don't last 3 months. Normal life expectancy when you go to concentration camp is 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah, so they need a lot of those people.
And they just use those people for fodder.
Yeah.
How many people do they know how many people are in these concentration camps?
Nobody knows exactly, but several 100,000 of them. But there's also prison camps, concentration camps, prison camps, and labor camps.
And some people are born into these camps.
Yeah, those are people in the concentration camps. And they don't even get to know the name of Kim Il-sung or Kim Jong-un. They're too below the level. They don't even bother to tell them who the leader of the country is.
And what did someone in their family do that would make them get put into these concentration camps?
So they find out later their great-great-grandfather was working with the Japanese for a week when the Japan was colonizing or the Korean was starting. They were talking to American soldiers, or they're like cousins of nephews of some in-law was a Christian, because North Korea is #1 Christian persecution country because they copied the Bible, right? They said, "Oh, Kim Il-sung loves us so much; he's a god. He gave us his son Kim Jong-il, and he dies, but his spirit is with us all the time. That's why they can read my thoughts. He knows how much hair I have, and that's how." So when you become a god, you don't need to explain. You don't need to make sense.
So they essentially use the story of the Bible for Kim Jong-il and
Kim Il-sung. Yeah, they copy the Bible. Exactly, copy the Bible.
wow.
That's why I believe that Kim was reading my mind. I mean, if the people believe in the West, that Jesus knows what you're thinking, why do you think it's surprising that North Koreans believe that?
So someone's great-grandfather speaking to the Japanese would be the reason why they would be raised in a concentration camp and never even be told the name of the leaders.
Yeah.
And that's happening right now.
Oh, it's been happening for the last almost 80 years. Yeah, this has been going on, and as you just ask, what can be done? Kim Jong-un cannot last even 1 week without Chinese regime support. The only reason the regime exists is because of Chinese Communist Party. How do you test missile without oil? Kim Jong-un cannot even drive his Benz in Pyongyang. China refused to not helping the regime. They keep helping Kim Jong-un, keep sending the oil. Even last year, the New York Times covered it. The ship with full of gas oil going to North Korea. So Kim Jong-un could test missiles, even amid the pandemic.
Why does China support North Korea?
I really, I think one is they don't want that democracy come to next door, right? That South Korea, Japan, America is all right next to North Korea geographically. And North Korea is this almost a buffer zone for them, for this Western movement coming into their country. And also they think of North Korea more like Tibet or Xinjiang. If they let North Korea go, then Xinjiang people gonna wanna go. Tibetans gonna be independent. Hong Kong's wanna be independent. So they cannot give up any one of them. So because of the stability and symbolic thing for the Chinese people within the country wants to be independent. So they all want to maintain North Korea forever. And Mao said that relationship between China and North Korea is like the relationship between your lips and the teeth. Without lips, you cannot really close your mouth and eat. Without your teeth, you cannot chew. So you need each other to survive. And that's how Mao's son died in the Korean War, by defending Communist Party in the North. That's how Mao lost his son. That's how he believed that they need North Korea.
And so the Chinese Communist Party today shares the sentiment, and they're using it strategically.
Yeah, they run the dictatorship in North Korea. They run the whole thing. And that's the thing, like, we have not been serving North Korea because we just never named the accountability, who is responsible for this crisis. That is China. And of course, in American mainstream, they do not want to call out North Korea, China, to committing, genocide. That's why I've been having so many attacks from Marxist, communist, and Maoist, and Leninist, all these people. And North Korea is almost this last country that holds ideology called socialism. So it's a very symbolic country. So a lot of empathizers of communism and anti-Western civilization people, they defend North Korea like hell.
But do they, when they speak of it, like the Chinese Communist Party, when they speak of North Korea, do they have a distorted image that they project of what it's like in North Korea? Do they have do they change the narrative? Do they have a story of North Korea that's false, that makes it seem like North Korea is a nice place?
No, they know exactly what's going on.
They know.
Even Chinese people know. When I was...
So there's no defending it?
No. Even Chinese people see it. Like when North Koreans get captured, Chinese is still better, nice than North Korean guards. They like handcuff off, sort of eye blinds us. But North Koreans come and they put the wire in between here, in between your bones. So connecting all the prisoners together so they cannot run. Like cows. And
they put a wire like through their collarbone?
Yeah. So they prevent us to escape. So while we are in China, that's when the outsiders are watching. But imagine what they're going to do inside the country when there's no camera.
So this is what China does to North Koreans?
No, China catches us and gives us to North Korean guards. And they watch it.
And they watch them do that?
And then they even horrified, but of course they don't do anything about it. There's like, you don't have to go that far, but of course North Koreans do not accept defection, right? That's why we are defectors, we are not refugees. When we escape, we defy the ideology.
Yes.
That's why North Koreans are not just refugees, they are political prisoners. They are political refugees. They should be covered by Geneva Convention and international law. So China catching us, send us back, that is a crime against humanity. They're breaking the international law.
But no one will punish them for that.
And nobody gonna talk about it, even here in the West. Right? Why? I mean, there's a Michelle Obama, right? Nobel Peace Prize giving the girls like captured by ISIS or like Taliban, like Malala. Michelle Obama stands up for the girls who were captured by ISIS and Boko Haram. Who is standing up for North Korean girls being captured and raped in China right now? There are 300,000 North Koreans right now when we are speaking in China and are sexual slaves.
300,000?
Yeah. And most of them are women and girls.
China has incredible power.
Yeah.
And when you see the power that China has and that they're supporting North Korea and that there's no pushback from America,
yeah.
What does that feel like to you when you see this, knowing what you went through? And not only knowing what you went through, but the fact that you talk about this openly. You talked about it in your book that came out in 2015.
Yeah.
And you speak about it as often as possible, but yet there's not a lot of support from, especially from political leaders.
Yeah.
There's no one is stepping up to say your story.
Yeah. It's total hypocrisy. All these people in America talk about how slavery is wrong. I agree slavery is the worst thing that we can do to another human being. But why some slavery matters over some other slavery? Right?
Right.
All these corporations talking about how they do not support the bigotry and racism and slavery. it's happening right now in China, and they have business with China.
And they don't say anything about it.
Like this is the thing. When Hulu made a movie about about assassins, about Kim Jong-nam's assassination 3 years ago in Malaysia. Remember the Kim Jong-un's half-brother got?
Yes.
So they made that movie. Hulu was supporting to make that movie.
He killed his half-brother and someone else too, right?
And his uncle.
His uncle.
Yeah. So his brother is more shocking because he got killed in the international territory. In a VX nerve, the poison. And they made a movie. But when the Hulu was bought by Disney wanted Hulu to drop that movie. So that movie couldn't be shown in Hulu. So
because it would offend China.
Yes. Why there is not even one single movie coming out of Hollywood about North Korean people suffering? They made about Congo genocide. They made all about genocide, not about North Korea.
That is a strange hypocrisy, isn't it?
Of course it is.
And it's about money, right?
Absolutely. It's all about money. I mean, all these people talking about justice, what they care about. I mean, none of them do when it's real life.
And these are not secret stories.
It's not. I mean, so this is the thing. Oh, don't make it up. I mean, Kim Jong-un kills his uncle, right? That was on the national newspaper. He kills his half-brother. And look, do you remember the Otto Warmbier, the American 21-year-old student?
Yes.
Who was accused of stealing the banner.
Mm-hmm.
He was brain dead.
By the time he got to America,
yeah.
He was beaten to death, right?
Yeah, and he was sentenced for 15 years in the labor camp for trying to steal the banner. But this is a country that did to white American mayor, to the most powerful country citizen. Imagine what they're gonna do to their own citizen. You cannot even imagine what they do to their own citizen. So North Korea, this nationalism is to the highest. So when North Korean men go to China, get raped, and we get pregnant. When we go back to North Korea, the guards kick our belly until baby dies. They don't let the baby live. It's just unbelievable. This is happening in 21st century, and still, we somehow don't talk about it.
Not just don't talk about it, but it keeps going, generation after generation.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's been happening like this for more than 80 years,
yeah.
What's going to stop it from happening for another 80 years? And if people are quiet, nothing. It's going to keep going.
And this is what is, to me, is as an activist, right? I'm a dissident. I'm fighting against this regime. We know when Jamal Khashoggi get killed in Saudi consulate, there's no accountability for the dictator, right? Saudi prince didn't get anything. When Kim Jong-un killed his half-brother in Malaysia, nothing. They were there's no accountability that we are asking of these people. So standing up fighting, it doesn't incentivize people anymore, right? So you don't see justice being served. And I think that is why it is so hard to fight now. Because people think justice is there, but I don't think it is that. It's something I don't see in real life. When we actually fight against injustice, it's most likely you're going to be just get killed and nobody cares and just keep moving on.
What can be done? I mean, if the United States and the relationship the United States has with China, they're unwilling to do anything or even speak out about it.
Yeah.
When they talk about the problems of the world, North Korea is rarely discussed.
Yeah.
And the horrific crimes of the North Korean regime against their own people, rarely discussed by politicians. They'll talk about Afghanistan, they'll talk about Iraq, they'll talk about all the problems we have with Iran. They don't talk about what's going on right now. What you're describing in North Korea with these concentration camps and these people, they don't talk about these things.
Yeah.
What can be done?
I think this is a beauty about living in democracy. Like when I go to Whole Foods, right, coming from North Korea, I'm shocked by how many hand washing is all about environment friendly products. Right? And that means a lot of people want to support this cause.
Right.
That they want, look at how many vegan restaurants are popping up in New York. So a lot of people demand that now. So if individuals are being educated on what is happening and who is actually responsible for supporting North Korean regime and how hard it is for the people who are being oppressed, if they start demanding the politicians and the world leaders and companies to be conscious and act, I think that is at this point my only hope is individuals. I have stopped trying to talking to UN. I don't even give talks anymore at the UN.
Did you give talks in the past?
Yeah.
What was the response?
They, in Geneva in September, the Human Rights General Assembly meeting, how dumb of them. They literally put me alone to right next to North Korean delegation team because geographically we are somehow close. So these 5 guys from North Korean delegation team are swearing at me. And the UN, that's what they do. That's how dumb they are.
They sat them next to you.
Yeah, they put me right next to North Korean delegation team.
And no protection.
No. I was so scared that going to hotel room that night because I don't have anybody protecting me. So I have tried, of course, but at the UN, who decides the human rights violators? Chinese and Putin and Saudis do. They decide who actually violates human rights.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I have to go ask Chinese who actually committing this crime and complain that, of course, they're not going to listen to me. So what is the even point of the UN for this, right? And of course, I met Nancy Pelosi. I met a lot of politicians. And on surface, oh, that's really horrible. Let me think about what can I do. But of course, this is not what they care. They care about the systemic oppression that is happening in America more.
They care about what's going to get them votes.
Yeah.
And what's popular, what's
exactly.
on people's minds right now.
Yeah.
And whatever the narrative is that they're currently pushing.
Yeah.
It's going to allow them to get elected again.
Yeah. It's all about their own interest.
So when you spoke at the UN, what was the reception like?
Oh, they are saying this is the West propaganda trying to interfere other people's autonomy. In North Korea is a state of their own. You should not interfere the other people's affairs. That's still to this day Chinese narrative, right? They don't ask us what we are doing to Xinjiang Uyghurs or Falun Gong or organ trafficking, all of that. It's our own business.
Organ trafficking.
Yeah. So when North Koreans go to China, we ending up several different sources. Worst cases, they take us and they take our organs out and suddenly we die.
Like which organs?
Everybody, your eyes, hearts,
kidneys,
lungs, liver, all of it.
They sell them.
Of course, in China, you order the organ, it gets to you within 3 hours. How is it possible? How somebody dies miraculously in 3 hours for you? China is do you know how many hospitals are being built for the organ transfer in China?
How many?
This is the biggest revenue right now being built in China.
So do people from other countries go to China for organ replacements?
Yeah, a lot of the Middle East and those countries go to China to get the
So they just turn a blind eye to it.
Yeah.
They don't think about the origin of the actual organs themselves.
Yeah.
They just go,
get it.
Oh, I need a lung replacement. And China says, well, if you go here, we can get it for you.
Yeah.
And they go, and then they kill someone and take their lungs.
Yeah. It became a biggest now a new industry that is rising in China. It's organ transfer.
Those people are generally North Koreans?
Those are, a lot of them were Falun Gong practitioners in China.
Okay. Uyghurs?
Yeah. Now the Uyghurs.
Mm-hmm.
But Falun Gong is different, a peaceful religion they were wanted. Falun Gong, Uyghurs, and not as much Tibetans, but more like Xinjiang now with the Falun Gong North Koreans.
And so they have them in some prisons somewhere?
Yeah.
And they feed them and just wait for someone to come along that needs their organs, and then they kill them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And
this is proven?
It's a lot of other things are proven, because when these people die, how do we ask them, how did you die? They are dead. So that is a lot of Falun Gong survivors do testimony.
They have told about this.
Yeah, it's very well known. Jamie can look it up. UN even condemned China for that. Even they couldn't turn the eyes blind on it. It was too evidence. And another thing North Koreans go is prostitution, brothels, right? And these girls resist. So what they do, they give them drugs. So they make them become drug addict. So now all they want is drug. So that's how they go to brothels. And then this man I said in these villages cannot afford the women in these little towns. So they buy one girl and they rotate the entire man in that town. And then like me, some of them just being sold. Like my mom was sold for just mentally retarded family, the farmer's family. and we became a free labor for them and being a sex slave for them. And then
Being a sex slave for a mentally retarded family?
yeah. I mean, because if they're normal and they can find wives. They're older, like mentally retarded and not functioning people. Those people cannot find wives. So that's why we ending up in the most horrible places. We don't just go and like fall in love and meeting some normal person.
So when you were 13, you escaped. Tell us what it was like. First of all, where did you escape to? You escaped to China?
Yeah.
And how did you get across?
It was a frozen river in March, end of March in 2007.
So you travel on the frozen river.
Yeah. And we luckily didn't get shot by the guards. And when we got into the other side of the riverbank of China, that's when Mom got raped. And then they took us in a house. And they were like turning me around like a slave market, right? They checked my teeth and my body structure. And somehow being virgin is very precious in China. So they sold my mom for around $65. And it's 21st century. And they sold me less than $300. And they sold us separately. But the thing is, they didn't even try to force us. They were asking, if you don't want to be sold, you can go back to North Korea, right? And even North Korean regime doesn't punish me. I couldn't find food to eat. I was going to die anyway. Even if the regime doesn't kill me, the starvation was going to kill me. And for the first time, I remember that night in the trafficker's house, I saw a trash can. And I did not know what it was. So I asked this lady, like, what is that? And then like a round thing. I said, oh, that's a trash. Like, what is trash? I was like, oh, the things that you don't need to throw there. Like, you can throw it away. And it's like, what do you mean you have things to throw away? Because we never needed a trash bin in North Korea. We had nothing to throw. Even these hairs, it comes down. We don't have like heating like that. We have to start a fire. And starting fire takes the paper is very precious. So we burn like hair there to try to start a fire. Like literally nothing was thrown away in that
Even
country.
human poop, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. That regime cannot have a fertilizer. They don't even have the technology to have a fertilizer. So they demand us to bring the poop. And as a kids, you go to school, the teachers beat you and then go home and look for poop. So I would go on the streets and looking if anywhere like a dog pooped or somewhere. Of course, like all those dogs or poops gone. So finding a poop, and when you don't eat much, you don't poop like in North Korea like few times a month. It's
Really?
very precious thing. Yeah, of course.
A few times a month.
Yeah.
And it becomes very precious, and you have to give it over to the regime.
Yeah. So that's nothing is being wasted.
So do they have toilets, or do you go to the bathroom in outhouses?
Oh, we have all outhouses. They're digging a hole, but we have to lock it because some people come and steal it.
They come to steal the poop.
Yeah, it's a government quota. You get punished if you don't bring poop. Everything is punishment in that country.
So what is the quota? Like how much poop do you have to give them?
So sometimes per family they say 1 ton. How do you find that?
A ton?
Yeah. So
2,000 pounds?
I do the kilograms, so like 1,000 kilograms, right? It's like a ton, 1 ton. So
yeah, it's about right. So,
yeah. 2,000. So per family, or they give you the quota. So
that's per year?
Yeah. And then we have to bring them in usually January. So because the farming starts around March, so they have to, like in January they collect them and pile them up, and then they start burying it, and then when the thaw happens, and they start the farming process in the spring.
And even then, you don't get any of the food that they're growing.
No, it's a collective farm. So they take the 98% of the food to the regime, and then that 2% is spread among the elites who's running the farm. So you work entire year in the collective farm. You get nothing from it.
There's also cannibalism.
Yeah, it is.
How does that happen?
It's really like people said, oh, don't dehumanize people of North Korea, and like because they say, oh, just tell us the nice things, right? Like that's just too much for us to handle, and like well, I just, this is the thing, like, there's like people go to black market, you sell meat. People don't ask what meat it is. We don't ask, it's like pork or like it's just a rabbit. We don't. And we just, sometimes we go find a very, very cheap meat and we don't ask. And luckily I was too poor to afford the meat. I didn't get to eat them. A lot of children just disappear. But the thing is, there's no evidence. Usually everybody dies and on some corner get drowned. So we go to river to bathe. We only bathe a few times a year. Wintertime we don't even bathe. And during the winter we have to go to wash our clothes. So we make a small hole in the river. And sometimes you fall and slip through and you die like that. So it's just so easy to, murder is not a thing. So it's so many causes killing you. So some people, you lose your children, we just don't even know what killed it, and nobody bothered to go out and like find it for you. So many people die. So that's why it's easy to sell the human like meat.
So either they're killing the children, or they'll find them dead and then just cook their meat and sell it.
Yeah.
And this is common.
Yeah.
So when you escape to China, what is the process like when you're in China before? How did you eventually got to South Korea?
Yeah.
How long were you in China for?
Almost 2 years.
And what was that like? What was the process like?
Well, living in 2 years of China, like feel like I lived 1,000 years on this earth. I feel like very old. Yeah, I remember after there for 6 months, one day, I was walking alone, and then it's like, I literally felt like I lived 1,000 years, right? Like making it one day was such a struggle. Whenever you let one day live, you think like, oh my God, I made one more day on earth.
In China?
Yeah.
So it was that hard in China. What was so hard about it?
Because one, you don't know when you're going to be arrested. So you always put your shoes on tight, shoe laces, and whenever you get into some indoor, you look for a place to run. Right? If you are invited to somebody's house, you see check the doors. Where can I run? Which route do I run? When you even sleep, you know how to run, right? You get ready to run from the police. And that is a constant threat. And of course, you're raped every single day by these human traffickers. And they even come follow you to the bathroom. There's no human dignity in it. They beat you, and you're not your own person. And the common things that they tell us that our lives are even not valuable like pigs. Because even they kill us, they know that we cannot go to police.
How did you escape from all that?
This is, so the man who bought me, he was very impressed because by then I went through 2 human traffickers prior me. So by the 3rd human trafficker, nobody's virgin. They all got raped. So he was Han Chinese and couldn't believe that I made it to him as a virgin. Because the first trafficker, my mom covered. Second trafficker, I felt like hell. I'd literally lose my mind. And thankfully, he had his mistress in the next room. So I didn't get raped. Even he tried so hard, I didn't. So by the 3rd time, Han Chinese, I was trying to kill myself. And then he said, oh, if you become my mistress, I'm gonna help you to get your family to you. But before that, he showed me the phone he had, because I never seen a phone in my life as North Korean. And he showed me, oh, this phone can take pictures, and look at these pictures I took. And among the one picture I saw was my mom in it. And I started telling that's my mom. And that's how he knew that I had that, the woman that he sold was my mom, and obviously he raped her too. So he said, if I become his mistress, he's gonna help me with my family. So he took my virginity, he raped me, and thankfully he did help me. He brought my mom back from a farmer that he sold, and he brought my sick father from North Korea. That's how I brought my parents back to me.
How did you escape from him?
After almost 2 years, he became a gambling addict. He was a big gambler. He's spending all his money. And somehow this evil man was letting me go because he couldn't even afford to give me food at that point. He was so broke. So he said, like, I'm letting you go. And in some ways, in his most evil way, he loved me. So after 2 years, I was let go. And then I went to this chat room. So this is another thing. A lot of North Korean girls capture in these chat rooms where we do body cams. Clients are South Koreans. So we chat and then we show our body. But North Korean women, we choose that route because it's better than being touched by men in person, right? You're not raped in person.
So this is all on the internet with web cameras?
Yeah. That's also number one thing that North Korean women do in China. Or this nightlife. So in that room, I heard about something called the South Korea for the person because the clients are South Koreans.
You didn't know what South Korea was?
I knew the different name, but I knew that country was colonized by Americans. I heard that in South Korea, the South Korea was very corrupt capitalist and raped by American soldiers every day. And they are like, kids cannot go to school and they all want to come to North Korea.
That's what you learned from North Korea?
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought.
Wow, they all want to go to North Korea.
Yeah, they all want to come to North Korea. The entire humanity wants to be like North Korea. So we are so fortunate. They tell us that we have nothing to envy in this world.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you find out about South Korea from these chat rooms and you start to get a different idea of what South Korea must be like.
Yeah. And we met this Defector lady in that chat room. She told me she knows some missionaries. And if we become Christians, they're going to help us to go to South Korea and be free. And that's when I heard like free for the first time. I asked like, what do you mean free? And she said, oh, you can watch TV and you can wear jeans and nobody going to arrest you for that in South Korea. So that's what I thought of freedom.
Watching TV and wearing jeans.
Yeah.
That's what you thought of freedom.
It was never like freedom of speech or none of that. I was like, oh, that's cool. I can wear jeans. Because I was a teenage girl. I wanted jeans. And in North Korea, you get sent to prison camp for that.
You get sent to prison camp for wearing jeans.
Yeah, it's just a joke for Westerners that North Korean, even haircut is like ordered by the regime. Like the only thing that North Koreans are allowed to do that in that country freely is breathing. Everything else is controlled. What we wear, what we watch, what we listen to, how we dance, what haircut that we get, every single thing is controlled by the regime.
So you're working in these chat rooms and you meet this woman and she says you just have to become a Christian?
No, we have to go to the shelter that Christians had. So we have to go and there study Bible. And we have to prove our faith to them. Then they're going to rescue us. That was a condition to be rescued by Christians.
So it's a Christian missionary from South Korea.
Yeah.
And so did you have to go to South Korea in order to prove yourself to them? Or did they do this all through online?
No, we couldn't go South Korea, obviously. So they had a shelter in China, in some house hidden. So we went to their shelter, and then we joined them as a group and studied the Bible every day. So we would go fasting. I mean, we've been starved all our lives, but they say, God provides. So you go fast, you study Bible, you memorize verses, they come test you. And we pray together. And then once they think we are actually Christians, then they tell you how to go to South Korea.
How long did that take?
Several months. But when you're so desperate, right? Like, I'm going to believe in rocks if somebody asks me to believe in. Like, you believe in anything, literally.
Right.
So, and it was so easy. Like, North Korea regime was Bible. Like, I was like, what the heck, this thing called Jesus and God? And, like, North Koreans like, don't worry, baby. Just like, plug God to Kim Il-sung and Jesus to Kim Jong-il. And perfectly made sense. Like, God loves us so much, gave us his son. He's there to protect us. We gotta suffer and go to paradise with him later in life. So I did become a Christian.
So it made the same sense to you because it was so similar to the story that they taught you in North Korea.
Exactly. The logic was so similar.
So you became a Christian.
Yeah, I did.
And several months of this studying the Bible.
Yeah.
And then they eventually got you to South Korea.
They told us how to go.
How'd you do that?
Which was literally walking across the Gobi Desert into Mongolia from China.
You walked?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they gave us one compass. We had even toddler in our group. We had one father and his father and the 7 ladies and few teenagers. They told us,
You went by compass.
yeah.
Did they give you a map?
I mean, you cannot look at the map in the desert. You don't have GPS. How do you
Right.
know? Nothing tells you if you're going circle or straight or backwards. That was the horrifying thing about desert is that it looks all the same.
Right.
Nothing tells you what you're doing. You can just keep going circle all night. And then, so they told us go follow the west and the north between in that direction. And if you cross the 8-wire fences, hopefully that's gonna be Mongolia.
Hopefully.
And then you find the Mongolian soldiers and tell them that you wanna go to South Korea, not North Korea. So that means so dangerous. The chances of you making in that desert is not even like 2-3%, right? Like 90-80% of time you're gonna fail. So they cannot lead us there. It's random luck. That's why they believe that God is gonna show us miracle.
How long did it take you to walk from the Gobi Desert?
It was just only one day.
One day.
But we chose that in February 2009 after Beijing Olympic. And in the frozen Gobi Desert, it's like minus 40 degrees. So the soldiers is thinking nobody's crazy enough to cross right now in this freezing time.
So that's how you can do it.
That security is lower. Other times they're gonna shoot you because in that desert nobody knows if you got killed or not.
So who would be shooting you?
Chinese or the Mongolians, both of them can just shoot you.
They would just shoot anybody walking through the
It's
desert.
called a shoot to order. It's like a shoot to kill order. So they don't like bother to ask who you are. Just gotta shoot them right there and kill them. So we don't even have ID, none of that. So we chose a time it was frozen and cold, and even guards don't want to come out and look around. So we walking from Chinese side, but they took us to the border of China, Inner Mongolia, which was still China. From that border, we started walking towards Mongolia. And entire day of walking, we got there. Somehow, miraculously, we didn't die from the cold.
And did you bring food? Did you bring water? What did you bring with you when you were walking?
Like in minus 40 degrees, you cannot even stand still for 3 seconds. Like if you stand still for 10 seconds, you're gonna die right there. You're gonna get a heart attack, frozen to death. So you don't even need to eat. You just have to. Only thing I remember was moving.
Keep going.
Keep moving. Whatever I was doing, I had to keep moving. Otherwise, you get very you don't get enough oxygen. So very hazy and not clear. You get very sleepy. That's the thing. Like dying from cold wasn't bad as I thought. It was you become very numb, and you don't really desensitize, and you become very very sleepy, and that's when you know you're dying in the cold.
How many people were with you?
We had 1 baby and 7 people, and the toughest thing is when we were going across China, we had to give him sleeping pills because he would cry and he doesn't speak Chinese. But in the desert, he had to be wake up because he's gonna die frozen to death in the desert. So this baby keep falling asleep. So we had to keep shaking or passing around between us, and he made it eventually.
So he has to stay awake because if he falls asleep, the cold will kill him.
Oh yeah, of course.
So, but he's not walking, right? You're
Oh
carrying
yeah,
him.
he's a toddler. He cannot walk. He's few years old.
But he still needs to be awake.
So we had to keep shaking him and massage his feet and hands and shake him up and down so he could be conscious and up because he was keep falling asleep.
What kind of clothes are you guys wearing?
Well, we didn't have gloves. We didn't have any.
You didn't have gloves.
No.
4 degrees below zero.
Yeah. So my mom didn't even have shoes at that point. So she eventually borrowed the shoes from a guy and roped it was so big. And I was just wear a thin coat. And somehow that's why I guess we needed a miracle. That's why we had to pray. I don't know. It's very low chance making it. So nobody not escaping through Mongolia anymore.
So you walk through Mongolia. It takes you 24 hours?
Mm-hmm. Just roughly 1 day, I think we took. Yeah.
And then what happens when you get to the other side?
We didn't get to another side. One just suddenly in the morning, the guards with the guns coming at you and asking you to put your hands up. So we all lifting our hands up, right? And then they were saying they're gonna send us to China, and then back to North Korea to get killed. So North Koreans, when we escape, we bring the laser and poisons with us to try to kill ourselves. Because I mean, going to North Korea get killed is way worse than killing ourselves right there. So
you brought poison with you to kill
and
yourself?
the laser, yeah.
And a laser?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of
very,
laser?
very thin laser. That's like China, only North Korea said it. Like very, very thin laser.
A razor?
Like blade, yeah.
Blade, metal.
Yeah, metal thing.
Yeah.
Very thin one.
Yeah,
So-
it's razor.
Oh, razor. Yeah, we hide in the belts like everywhere.
So to cut your veins.
Yeah, like right here or right
Mhm.
here is very easy to cut. So we were. This is like what still shocks me is that these Mongolian soldiers didn't have the sense to China, but they want to see how we react. So that's what they were playing with us, right? For us, it's like a life and death. For them, it's like a joke. And thankfully, they would not let us kill ourselves. Like very last minute, they stopped us and turned the car back around to the Mongolian side. But the next team that crossed the border got all arrested and sent back to North Korea. But the following team, they were doing that, and Mongolian soldiers went too far. So one of my friends, she swallowed the entire sleeping pills to kill herself. And then they took her to ER and they revived her, but forever her brain got damaged. So this was a joke to them.
So they thought it was funny to scare the refugees.
Yeah. It's funny to see how we fight for our lives. Yeah. But thankfully, nobody's choosing that route anymore.
So when they capture you
Mm-hmm.
and they threatened to send you to China and then back to North Korea, how did you get out of it?
I remember I was telling my mom, like, we did everything to survive. And it was like, because in China, in the prisons, they even get rid of the buttons. Everything is all like, you cannot swallow to kill yourself, right? They don't even give you a spoon. So that's how prevent a suicide, because all nurses can kill themselves before they go, because they know the fate. So I know, like, if I miss the opportunity to kill myself in the car on the way to China, we are never gonna get the chance back. So we were ready to cut and then swallow the thing, and that's when they stopped. And sometimes they just go too far with it.
So it's always a joke to them.
Yeah, we did not know. But later, when we were leaving Mongolia, that's when they told us, actually, we didn't mean to send you guys to China. Like, we just do that every time when you arrive here.
And some people wind up killing themselves anyway.
Yeah.
So eventually they let you go?
Yeah, they did reach out to South Korean embassy, and then South Korean embassy comes, right, and they interrogate you to make sure that you're actually North Korean. So several months in Mongolia, we do different detention centers. They move us around and interrogate us, and when they confirm that we are North Koreans, that's when they gave us a fake passport. And from Ulaanbaatar to South Korea, we flew there.
And so when they determine that you're North Korean, what are they trying to find out? They're trying to find out if you're actually a refugee, if you're a spy. Like, what are they trying to find out?
So they're in China. There's a Korean ethnic Chinese who were Koreans back then, but they became Chinese. The ethnic Korean. So China has 56 different ethnicity. It's a very diverse country, right? So one of them are Korean ethnic Chinese. So those people try to go to South Korea. So they rule out those people and also spy. So they rule out everybody's defectors. When you escape, you become defector right away. So they rule out the spies and also rule out if you are actually North Korean or ethnic Chinese, ethnic Korean Chinese. So that's what they try to investigate you.
And so you finally eventually